from our sponsor.
Advanced Elements is the leader in design and manufacturing of inflatable kayaks with cutting-edge technology and providing excellent customer service. All of their products are designed to give paddlers the tools they need at a value they deserve. Check them out at advancedelements.com or call toll-free at 866-262-9076.
Hello, and welcome to Paddle and Pedaling Florida Adventures. I'm your host, Mr. D. Hey, today we're out on the e-bike. Yesterday we were in the kayaks, but today I want to do a, it's going to be an on-location review with a DSLR and a couple other cameras, and it's the TW283 Intervalometer is what I'm going to be looking at. Now, the reason I got into this is I want to be able to get some stable shots when I'm doing wildlife photography and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes I get camera shake. But again, it's kind of a balancing act, to be honest with you. Now, an intervalometer will not activate your video portion of your camera, and you need to know that going in. It is strictly for single imagery or timed shots. Especially if you're working with bulb and stuff like that. That's what an intervalometer is good for. But I wanted something that had some distance. The infrared ones don't give you any distance at all, and if I want to control my shutter from a distance, it's very difficult to do. Now, I have an infrared one, it gives me about 30 feet. Now, the TW283 claims that it can do up to about 250 feet. Now, that's quite a bit. We're going to ride down to Northeast Regional Park, which is one of my favorite locations to do tests on kayaks and stuff like that. You've heard me talk about that before. And we're actually going to set up tripods and all that kind of stuff and kind of test out the intervalometer with my A6500 mirrorless camera. And also, just to let you guys know, this thing will work with any Alpha Series or Next without having to change the cabling and stuff like that. It'll work with any of those cameras. So the cool thing is, if I'm out with my A77 or my A6500, now I use my A77 Mark II for my big lenses, the fast glass, the great big glass, when I'm out at places like Circle B Bar where there's a lot of wildlife and stuff like that. Now, I am going to go down there after I do this review on this intervalometer, and I want to go down and test it in a real life environment. Now, the only bad thing is wildlife happens very fast. So setting up a tripod, setting cameras up there and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be difficult to get a decent shot using an intervalometer. But what it will do once I have it all set up is that I will be able to eliminate camera shake when you hit your shutter in a rush shot. So I can be looking at it, have the remote in my hand, and I see the shot I want to take. I can go ahead and hit. I can go half shutter on this and get a locked in focus, and then full shutter, and it'll fire it off, and I won't have to touch the camera at all. So anyway, guys, that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to go check that thing out. So hey, we'll be back in a bit. Hi guys, we have made our way out to the park, and what we're going to be reviewing is this right here, TW283 intervalometer. Now, this is the remote here, and the receiver is up here. Now, you can see it's a standard system here. You plug it in here, and you plug it into your shutter line on your specific camera. Now, like I said earlier, you can use this on any of the Alpha Series cameras. So it gives you a widespread of what cameras you can use this intervalometer on. Now we're going to walk through some of this here. It's not difficult to do, but there are some things like the timer. I'm not going to go into the intervalometer timer. There are a lot of videos out there that does that. I'm just not going to. I'm going to basically mess with this thing today on how I would use it in the field. That's what my review is going to be on. Now, the camera I'm using today is the A6500. So what I want to do now, guys, is go ahead and do some of the distance checks, and I want to see if the shutter releases at the distances. Now the furthest I'd be would be probably 100 feet away from my camera. Anything more than that, you're leaving your camera gear up for somebody else to have fun with. So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this all set up, so we'll be back in just a sec. All right guys, what we're doing now is I'm gonna show you how to turn this stuff on. This is the power on button right here. Just hold it down and you'll see CH001 pop up there, and then do the same thing here and CH001 there. Now I'm gonna turn the camera on, and I'm gonna set the zoom out a little ways here. And I want to set this so I can see what's going on. All right, now on the half shutter, now I don't know if this is going to work or not work, but again, you can't use your video using the intervalometer. So if I want to take this shot here, I'm going to half shutter it first. Now I'm getting the focus, and it should have fired. Let me do it again. Now that was about 60 feet, something like that. And we're going to try another one here in a minute. So we'll see how that goes. Hi guys, I'm walking away from the camera right now. I have the intervalometer right here in my hand. It is working out pretty good. Now I've got a fixed prime lens on my A6500 today, so it is only the 50mm lens, so I don't have any of my super zooms. But what I want to do here is again do a test. Shoot, very easy to use guys right here. This is really simplistic. Takes 4 AAA batteries, 2 for each component. The receiver apparently has over 200 feet range or 250 feet range. I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna walk back a little again, and hopefully somebody doesn't come up and snatch off my camera. That'd be a real bummer. But anyway, I'm back. Oh, I'm over 100 feet away right now. Let's see if I can get a shot here. Half shutter and hit the shutter. Okay. I'm gonna go back and review this and see if the shots were taken, so I'll be back in a bit. Okay. Again, this is the TW283 intervalometer. The only thing that I would say is wrong with this, and it's not wrong, it's just, it would be a nice to have if they had it in here, is a way that it would activate the video record button at the same time. But this is strictly an intervalometer set up for timing and your shutter work and stuff like that. So that's what it does. It does its job. It's got a pretty good range. I saw one review where he said the range was like 30 feet. You saw me a few minutes ago, I got out about 100 feet. They say the range is upwards of around 250. I'll never be that far away from my cameras anyway. But again, my main purpose for getting this is to eliminate camera shake when I'm using my big super zoom lenses. When they're zoomed all the way out, any movement on the tripod or camera or anything like that can mess up your shot. So with this intervalometer or remote shutter, I can get that shot. Now the reason I didn't go with infrared, I can't get the distance I want. So if I'm a long way away or I'm doing some kind of a cool shot that I want to get where I want to be in it, this is where the intervalometer frequency model, which is what this is, will work fine. So we're going to get back on the bike, guys, do a little bit more of a ride, and we'll be back in a bit. All right, guys, so what I'm doing now is that I am setting up, I went back and changed out my lenses, and I want to show you some of the different modes of this thing. And I've got this in the high-speed shutter mode, and the only thing is you have to set your camera to high-speed shutter and also the mode on the intervalometer. And you also have to set your mode to that, and you do that by selecting left, right on the buttons. Now I'm set in high-speed shutter. Now, I'm going to half shutter it, and I want you to listen. So that was ripping off a whole grip of pictures. Now, there's nothing going on the lake right now, but I did change out to a telephoto lens because I wanted to have more versatility with this morning. And that's what we're doing. Again, on high-speed shutter mode. Half shutter first. And then we're done. So that's great for action shots if you got somebody on a jet ski or something like that. And you're in a kind of a precarious place like I am here. This dock is kind of tore up from one of our hurricanes, and they have not had the time to get it repaired yet. So this is where I would use the intervalometer, set the camera up where I want it to be, and my zoom wherever I want it to be. Now I'm going to change back to single mode, and back to single mode here. That's back to single. Now, half shutter, by pressing this very lightly, it's doing the focus, and the shot is taken. For what it's for, it will work. I'm going to do a couple of close-up shots, and which would cause a problem with camera shake. So we're going to do that, and we'll be back in just a second. So anyway, guys, this is the system I set up on. You can see how it mounts on the cold shoe or hot shoe. I have a cold shoe over here and a standard hot shoe on the camera. I had to use a lift because of the large eyepiece. The actual intervalometer is really not that bad. It's not that big, but it does have limited use. I am going out to do a real-life shoot using the intervalometer with some of my big glass. I'm going back out to Circle B Bar, and I'm not sure if this is going to be what I'm looking for or not, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. If this will work for wildlife photography and to be able to eliminate camera shake, then yeah, this is the thing for me. If not, I'm just going to send it back. So anyway, guys, this is, again, the TW283 intervalometer. I didn't go into a lot of the setup stuff. There's a lot of videos out there that do that. I just wanted to do a field test and see if this thing would fit into what I do. And I'm really not sure, jury's out. But anyway, hey, we'll see you on the next one.